What's up, everybody? It's time to talk heat presses. Now, I've reviewed these 3 presses before, and I know you see 4 presses, but it's actually 3. These are 2 Rokoma presses, the 16 by 20s. This is the Heat Press Nation, tried and true, proven 16 by 20, and this is the Walla Pro from Heat Transfer Warehouse 16 by 20. I've reviewed all 3 of them before and compared them, but now we're going to go a little tiny bit more in depth now that I've been using them for a longer time, and you guys see certain ones appear on videos and you guys see certain ones not appear on that many videos. But there's a reason why. There's a method to my madness, and some of these presses have features that the other ones don't, and certain ones are good for certain things, and it's a few things that you guys should know about all of them in general. And you know, we're gonna go one by one and break down what I think about each of them now that I've been using most of them for a long period of time. Okay, so let's start with this heat press right here. This is my favorite press of all my presses. This is a 16 by 20 Heat Transfer Warehouse Walla Pro press. The reason why it's my favorite is because it's the most versatile and durable out of all of the presses, I believe. I believe this is has the best construction out of all 3 presses. Yes, even out of our tried and true Heat Press Nation 16 by 20 with the auto open signature series. These presses are all auto open, by the way. I think this is still built better and better quality than this press right here from Heat Press Nation. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. All right, so let's talk about the press itself first. I had to reposition the camera right here so I can show you one of my most favorite features that I like about this press. Now, you hear a lot of people talking about threading shirts when we're talking about pressing vinyl or doing various garment decorating things. You hear people say thread the shirt. What that means is to actually put the top part of the shirt at the top and the bottom part of the shirt at the bottom, so that just the edge, just the top part that you want to press onto is sitting on the platen and gets the heat. All right, now what you'll see about this press is this is a truly threadable press, right? Other presses, you might be able to thread your shirt, but you're risking damaging your shirt, and I'll say like stretching out your shirt, because this right here goes in the farthest out of all the presses that I own. All right, it goes in farther than the Heat Press Nation. It goes in farther than the Rokoma Press, which to me makes this a truly threadable design on here. All right, you can see how it slides in and out, and it doesn't really stretch the shirt at all. Why? That's because this right here, this design right here, goes so far in. All right, so that's truly threadable in my opinion. We can look at the Heat Press Nation, and we can also look at the Recoma Press and see that you cannot thread shirts as good as you can on this. All right, in the comments down below, I'm really curious to know if there's any other presses out there that have better threading systems or just as good as threading systems as this press right here. This is very thought out, and I believe that one feature right there makes this press, is one of the reasons why this press is a little bit more expensive than those other press, because you pay for a quality feature which will help you in the long run not ruin your garment. Because when I press with the other ones, like I said, I'll have stretch marks right here and probably stretch marks right here, because when you go to shut it, when you go to slide your drawer in, the press, the shirt is just not far in enough, so it tugs and it pulls in certain areas. All right, so that's my favorite feature about this press. They made it so it sits up a little bit, so it's super threadable. The slide out is very good. All right, so that's my favorite feature about that press. Now let me show you guys a quirky feature that I don't necessarily dislike about this press, but I've grown to like. Also, notice that the power on button is all the way in the back of the press, so that could be a pro, that could be a con. You get this nice metal housing for the head with the Walla press, nice and metal, nice and sturdy, unlike the other presses surrounded by plastic. But that's part of the reason why this press is a little bit more expensive than the other ones. Better build quality. When you reach behind and turn on the press, you get a screen that looks like this. And you could walk away potentially thinking that your press is heating up, but it's not heating up. It's not heating up at all. You first have to press the power button. I believe that that's kind of like a safety feature. Could work for you if either you like it or you hate it. I don't know. I've grown accustomed to it. Sometimes I still make the mistake of turning on the heat press and not pressing the power button, come back like, 5 minutes later and see that, oh my gosh, it wasn't heated up. You also have to change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit if you want to, use Fahrenheit every single time. And besides that, that's about it for that feature. Yeah, just a safety feature. You kind of like got to turn it on twice. You got to flick it in the back, then press the power button. And you can also turn the power button off, and that will make the heat press start to cool down, and it will be in, I guess, standby mode and still have power. It won't power off all the way until you toggle flip the switch back off in the back. So interesting fact about this press right here. Cool safety feature, I think. I've grown accustomed to it, like I said. That's all I got to say about that. And to change the gauge from, if you want to change the time and temperature, you just hit the mode button once, and then you can go up or you can go down. And then you press the mode button again, goes to the time, you can go up, you can go down, hit the mode button again, and then it starts doing its thing, it starts heating up. So that's fairly simple to operate that specific system right there, all right? So just got to show you guys all the functionalities of these different presses. So this is like I said, this is my favorite press right here. So let me show you guys another feature that I wasn't quite sure about, but I've grown to like about this press. All right, let me correct that. I won't say I've grown to like it. I'll just say I've grown to tolerate it. All right, you see this red knob right here on the side? This knob right here. This is our emergency stop button. All right, so if I have my press down, and I have it pressed, and I'm pressing, oh my gosh, that's enough. Push this button right here, and it releases, all right? It won't lock back down again unless I twist the knob, and it pops back out, all right? So again, I push it down, pressing, push the knob, it releases, and it won't lock back down again until you twist the knob that way, and that's when you can lock it down again. All right, little confusing when you first get started, but now that I showed you guys how to use it, you shouldn't have any problems at all. All right, yeah, so that's that. And again, I want you guys to notice, just listen up, listen right here, listen. It's kind of noisy, little herky-jerky, not that smooth on the release. Listen. All right, so you get a pop at the beginning, and then when it gets to the top, you get another jerk back. All right, so if you are in like an apartment building or something, it's going to be a little noisy, a little bit noisy. That could be a factor too. So all things that you want to consider. But again, like I said, this is my favorite press. You can get it from Heat Transfer House. Use my affiliate link in the description down below if you want to purchase this one. Let's move on to the next press. It wouldn't be fair for the last press or this press if I didn't show you guys what I mean by threadability. All right, now you see this design. It's a cool design, and we're gonna dig into this a little bit later, more of a flaw with this design in a second. But let me demonstrate to you the threadability of this specific press so you can know what I'm talking about. Notice where the handle is, right in the middle of the platen. On the other, on a Heat Transfer House one, it was at the bottom of the platen. See that? See, this one's at the bottom right here. This one's right on the platen. All right, so this is better placement for me. Again, making this a better threadable shirt because platen, because it's not right here. I don't have to reach inside of my shirt to open it up. I can just open it up right here. All right, it doesn't make this a bad press because this press is actually less expensive than this press. But like I said, you're paying for some features that you're not getting with this press, and that's okay. But this press has something that I like about it, and we'll review that in a second. Let me thread the shirt to show you guys what I'm talking about. Now, I'm threading the shirt, right? And this is pretty much all I got. That's as far as I can go. You can't really thread it on here. If you want to lay it down flat, right? If you want to lay the shirt down flat, you're going to end up stretching the shirt in the corners right here because again, I can't go back any farther than right here. Like it's jutting. Let me see if I can go under here. I guess I could go under there, but now that I'm all the way under there, guess what? When I go to close it, this is pulling right here and that's pulling right there. So this is really not that good of a threadable design right here. If you ask me, in my opinion, it's not that good. Hang the shirt off a little bit. Got your design on here, ready to press. And like I said, when you slide it in, ever so slightly, just a little pull, right? Not that bad when you put it all the way down, but like I said, it's not as threadable as this one is, in my opinion. All right, so like you see right here, it's pulling. It's actually pulling on the foot right here. So it's not, yeah. If you look, let me see right here. It's actually, the shirt is actually pulling on the foot, and this is a large shirt right here. So not that threadable in my opinion. Now let's talk about the usability of this thing and the menu system. Okay, so on the left side, there's an on-off switch. Flick it on, and it's on automatically. There's an emergency stop right here, which is more convenient than the heat transfer house press. If you ask me, it's much simpler to just press a button and have an emergency release, and you don't have to reset this one. You just press it once, the platen comes up, and it's released, and you don't have to reset it. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. Okay, so this menu system, how do you set the temperature and time and stuff like that? How do you do that? Let me show you guys. So you just press OK. So on Fahrenheit, you can change from Fahrenheit to Celsius right here by pressing up and down. Fahrenheit, you press OK. That right there is the temperature. Press OK again, and that right there is the time. Press OK. You're heating up. You're ready to go in just a moment. All right, so yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Can be a little complicated because the button layout, a little bit complicated when I first got started using it. I didn't really understand it, but to help put things in perspective, you have to have your platen all the way up in order for this to work. You hit OK. Now you can go ahead and adjust that stuff. But if you have the platen down a little bit, as you notice, the time starts ticking down. If I try to do anything, it's not going to do it. And that makes sense, but it can be a little confusing because this handle is kind of in the way of this. So you kind of go, especially when you're new, you kind of go to move the handle out the way a little bit. You activate it and you're like, why isn't this working? But it's not working because you got to have the handle all the way up in order for you to reset it. But if you have the handle up, this is like kind of in the way a little bit. So that's a little flaw to me. I mean, it's not a deal breaker at all. Like I said, this press has been around for a long time, but this build quality, this little plasticky heat transfer warehouse one, the body right here is metal, so better build quality on heat transfer warehouses Press Pro, if you ask me, because this plastic, if you drop this press or this plastic gets banged on something, it will crack. But this is tried and true. The press works great. One thing I want to highlight about this press is how smooth it opens. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said about, you know, being in an apartment or something like that, some of you guys are working in areas or starting businesses in areas, and sorry you can't see my face by the way, where as though you might not want to have a lot of noise. So put this press down, you clamp it down, and when you press the release button, it's a little less noisy than the other one. It doesn't have the top jerk, and it's a little bit easier, especially if you get the one with the short press, like this handle right here. It's easier to put down because you have like a second release angle handle. But when you press it, it's a lot less noisy than the other one to release. You just get the initial pop, and then it goes up very, very slowly, and then it rests at the top. So it's almost less. It's not almost. It's significantly less. It's significantly less noise. When it initially opens up, it's a lot less noise. I don't know for how many people that's going to matter, but for this one you get a pop when it opens, and then you get a pop when it reaches the top. This one you just get the one small pop when it opens up. All right, so that might be a factor to some people, but overall I still like this one better because of the threadability, and it's just a better build quality. I want to show you one huge flaw in the Heat Press Nation Signature Series press. Let me just show you guys right now. There is a L wrench thing right here. This right here, you see this little screw type of thing? This platen is not attached to the body. What's holding it in place is this right here. And over time, this can get loose. It didn't happen initially, didn't happen fast. It happened like over a few years. This got loose, and one day I went to go pick up my heat press from right here or whatever, and this just came off. Imagine if you're carrying your heat press right here, you think you got a nice hold on it, and then this just comes off, and you could like drop that on your foot. You can injure yourself, right? And this right here doesn't even screw into anything. What's holding this platen in place is the pressure of the edge of this screw, but up against the flat edge of something else. So it's not screwed into there, it's just butted up against something flat, and the pressure of you screwing that in is holding it in place. All right, so this is not attached to the body. I had to find that out. I'm not sure if they meant to make a interchangeable platen or something like that, but yeah, that right there is a thing that you guys should be aware of. So all of them have a little something something. Let's talk about our Recoma presses. Must not be that bad, right? That's what you're thinking, because I have two of them. The reason why I have two of them is because for what they do, they're the best bang for the buck in my opinion, but they're still not as good as the Waller press. I keep on saying this in videos. If the Waller press had this touchscreen right here, then it would be the ultimate press. There'd be no press better than it, in my opinion. I know people say, you know, the Fusion IQ is the best press, the Lamborghini of all presses. It's not to me. It does come up and swing away or pull out, but it's not auto open. So to me, if it's not auto open, it can't be the best press. It's just overpriced, and it's not very convenient if you have to run to the press when it starts beeping. I think it should have an auto open feature, and if it doesn't have an auto open feature, it's in a certain class of its own, but you can't say it's the best press because auto open is killing the game, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe it's just me. All right, so the Rokoma Press. The thing I like about the Rokoma Press is the gauge at the top. Let's talk about how you turn it on. Let's talk about the menu system and the emergency release, which I didn't know it had, but it actually does have an emergency release. I'll show you. So this is the Rokoma Press's head. You just turn it on. You get the Rokoma right there, and then you get pretty easy laid out, and it's touchscreen. You can do stuff, very, very cool, very, very neat. You can type stuff in. But in my opinion, this kills the game as far as budget-friendly presses. This screen right here just blows it away. I'll tell you why. Because if you are doing like white toner printer, if you're doing any type of garment decorating that has to do with different temperatures, then imagine you want to, you know, cure your shirt versus pressing vinyl or something. You can just quickly go, say I have it on 300 degrees and I want to do 15, so I want to change the vinyl. Boom, 15, enter. Now it's 15 seconds. Faster than pressing. And you also have the option to press up and down. But if you don't want to press up and down and wait, you can just boom, 30, enter. How fast is that? Change the temperature, 300 degrees to 400, 400, enter. 400 degrees, now it's going to heat up. To me, that feature is so clutch right there. And if you want to get a little Fusion IQ-ish, you can go over here in the parameters and you can save some parameters: production statistics, temperature, language, date and time, parameters, save current parameter, set up new parameters, check parameter list, check the parameter list. You can have name different types of vinyl. You can have this for that. This, like, say for example, I want to, okay, let's go out here and I have 300 degrees, right? 15 seconds. That's Caesar. Boom. Parameters, save current parameter. What are you going to call it? Current parameter name. SISER. Enter. Or Caesar vinyl. Let me call it vinyl. Caesar vinyl. There's a space right there. The space is not going in. Spacebar, not active. Okay, Caesar vinyl, doesn't matter. All right. All right, that's good enough. Caesar vinyl, enter, save current parameter. Okay, so now if I want to recall it, parameters, check parameter list. Now I got that one right there saved. I can save another one, and you can quickly switch the parameters. And also right here in the corner, you have the date, time, and all that stuff. That's just sick to me. It's just awesome that they included such a high quality menu system in this budget-friendly press. It's the most budget-friendly press that I like out of all these. That's why I have two, obviously. Now let's review this heat press's threadability. You already see down below, there's almost like no threadability. It's not that high up off the platen. You see where the handle is. It's not on the platen. It's directly right below the platen. But you do have a little bit of space right here, right in between. Let's test it out. Let me show you guys. I'd rather show you than tell you, right? So we're gonna go and try to squeeze your shirt. Again, now that you have to squeeze your shirt in there, it's time consuming to try to thread a shirt in and squeeze it in that little bit of space right there. It's time consuming. And again, it won't even go back that far. So threadability on this specific press is pretty much non-existent. It doesn't make any sense, kind of, sort of, because look how it is. It's just clumsy when it comes to threading a shirt. And if you want to get it all on a platen, you're going to end up stretching your shirt. Definitely going to stretch your shirt out. And then when you slide it back, it's definitely going to stretch on there. Actually, this whole thing is sliding, so that's not that bad. It's not too bad. So yeah, I'm going to say this gets a B on the threadability. A little bit better than the Heat Press Nation one, if you ask me, because they did think of it. But I think it's still clumsy and not as good as the Heat Transfer Warehouse one, because it just takes too long, and this slit right here is just way too small to thread shirts fast. All right, so you can't. It's not that much room. But again, the whole thing slides, so as it's going in, it's not stretching the shirt. All right, and that's something that the Heat Press Nation one is going to stretch the shirt every single time. All right, so I'd say this gets like a C, not a B. I'd say it gets a C on a threading. And the Heat Transfer Warehouse one gets a B. It's not the best, but it's really, really good. It's a fully threadable option. This one here gets a C because it is threadable. The whole shirt is moving, and it's not stretching it at all. So yeah, this is pretty good as far as threadability is concerned. All right, so yeah, it is threadable. By good, and then you can still have access to the handle, so that's a good thing too. All right, so let me talk about what I don't like about this press. In the comments down below, let me know if you're dealing with this issue with this press. With this press, when you go to adjust it, this does not turn as smooth as you'd like. It gets to a certain point, and because this piston is right here, it kind of stops, and you kind of gotta tap it. Like, say for right now, I want it to go down further. It's like right now I can't get it to turn. I can't get it to turn, right? I can get it to turn. Oh yeah, I can get it to turn so it goes down. Right? So what if I wanted it to come up? What if I wanted it to come all the way up so I can hover? Right? It gets to a certain point, and it's like right now it's like stuck. So you kind of gotta play with it. You kind of gotta like wiggle the platen around to get it to go down a little bit more. You gotta like slam it, and that's like, it's not a deal breaker for me because I know how to deal with it, but it's just not that user friendly, if you ask me. And this is bad. This is actually bad. This is the worst. That you kind of have to wiggle it to get it to. I don't want you guys to have any surprises, so I'm showing you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly with all these different presses. All right, and you wiggle it a little bit more and stuff. What I'm trying to do is get this piston right here to release, but it's just not that it's just not doing it. All right, guys, so what I did was I loosened this up a whole lot with my Allen wrench, and I think that seemed to have fixed the problem. Let me see if this can go up and down easier now. That's going down. Let me put it all the way down, and let me see if it comes up easier. Just curious. All right, so I got like that. If I want to bring it up, see, same problem, same issue, same thing. Yeah, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure if this is supposed to come down or what, but yeah, this press, really don't love it, clearly because of that issue right there. Got to shake it a little bit to help it get up a little bit, but it's just a pain in the behind dealing with like that. And I'm just telling you guys this because I don't want you to have any surprises when you buy this press, right? Shouldn't have to deal with all these surprises and stuff. And as you can see, there's no like real solution for this other than to like wiggle it and try to work it down. And it's just a lot to deal with, you know, in my opinion. Just in case this happens to you, what I'm doing is I'm just shaking it and turning it at the same time. It takes quite a bit of elbow grease, to be honest. I'm just using different hands here because I'm just shaking it and working it up. Shouldn't have to do all that, you know? Should not have to do all that to operate your heat press. That's probably going to count it out for most people right there. But let me know in the comments down below if you have this press and if you're dealing with that issue. You know? All right, now that I have it down a little bit, I can like kind of like work it and have it free itself. Now, the other thing that I don't like about this press right here is if you have it down too tight, the mechanism that tells a press to go up and down, it's like a little magnet. It's right there. You guys see that magnet right there? It's a magnet right here. That attaches to that. It's a magnet. Now, if you have it clamped down too tight, what could happen is the magnet won't touch that and the press won't stay down. The press won't stay down. I didn't know this until it happened to me and I had to call Rokoma, and the fix was simply just to unscrew this, push this back down a little bit while it's down, push it back down to the point where it engages, then tighten it all the way back up. All right, so this right here to me is a flaw. It's two small screws that's holding that in place, and that's real easy. Like I said, if you have it clamped down with really firm pressure, that part can swivel. It can swivel back this way. Again, it's an easy fix. You just put it back, you unscrew it, put it back, and then, you know, lock it back into place. But, you know, little issue. All right. So another thing that I didn't realize about this press is that it kind of does have an emergency open feature, because I don't see like the Rokoma, like the heat transfer warehouse has a turn knob right here that auto for like emergency situations. Heat Press Nation has a button right there you press for emergency pop-up. This one is a little different. All right, so I'm pressing. Oops, I don't want to press anymore. How do I emergency release it? Oh my gosh, you got to grab this, and physically pull it open. And you see how much noise that makes. Not that user-friendly. It takes a little bit of force, a little bit of pressure, but that is your emergency open right there. You physically have to pry it open, all right? So, yeah, that's it for the Recoma Press. I really love what they did with this. They should have just did a little bit more with this, and it would have probably been the perfect press at the Threadability, but this is just a total... might be a kill for a lot of people. But in the comments down below, if you have one of these presses, do you have that issue? Did you remove this? Am I supposed to remove this? I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I did like this press so much, and it was such a good budget bargain that I did end up getting two of them. So it's not that much of a factor once you have your pressure to exactly what you want it to be. And you're only going to be pressing those types of shirts or those types of garments with a specific press, which is my DTG. I use one to cure and one to press, and it's not that big a deal to me to adjust it because I'm a guy. I'm pretty strong. I could like muscle my way through this thing, and I know how to manipulate it now, so it's not that bad. It's not much of a deal breaker to me. All right, so that's that with the Rokoma Press. Overall, they each have their little caveats and nuances that makes one might be more enjoyable than the other one to use, or one might be a deal breaker for you. But overall, I like all of them, and all of them have their purpose. This one is just highly respected. If you want to get in the game, you want something that's tried and true and proven, Heat Press Nation Signature Series. You cannot go wrong with this press, guys. It's not bad at all. Heat Transfer Warehouse's Waller Pro 16x20 auto open. they tried to put some things together that the other presses didn't have to sacrifice the features that you are going to get. You're going to have to sacrifice a few dollars more to get that one, but I think it's definitely worth it if you plan on getting one. If you plan on getting this, by the way, use my Heat Press Nation affiliate link down in the description below. If you plan on getting that, use my Heat Transfer Warehouse link in the description down below. If you plan on getting this bad boy right here, use my Rokoma shop link in the description down below. But guys, I know I kind of fumbled through this one, and I feel like I did a disservice, but you definitely need to know what you're getting yourself into, and I want to be fair to you guys first and foremost, because without you guys, none of this would be happening, right? And again, notice I have 2 of them. It must not be that big of a deal if I went and I purchased a second one. And Rokoma didn't send me these, I purchased them myself. So yeah, I liked it that much that I bought another one, right? So I guess that's it. That's all that I have to tell you about these presses. This one, surprisingly, is the most budget-friendly one and has the best menu out of these 2. The trade-off is, you know, if you want to adjust it, it's a little bit finicky, but most people, once they have their stuff dialed in, if you're just doing vinyl all the time, that's it. If you're just doing, you know, rhinestones all the time, you're not going to be adjusting pressures all the time. I don't know, but if you want to save the different settings, which that means you would be adjusting it possibly, then this is the press for you to get. If you just locked in, tried and true, want something, hasn't been changed for years, you know it works, this is the press for you. If you want something that's threadable, if you want something that's durable, if you want something that's going to last a long time, this is going to last a long time too, but I think this is the best press out of the gang, if you ask me, in my opinion. The Rokoma Press Pro by Heat Transfer Warehouse, and I have my reasons. I just showed you guys. You can make your best decision on which one you want to get, but metal, durable, full metal body, truly a threadable heat press, safety feature on it. This one, if you're in an apartment or something like that, it's not going to be super quiet, but it's quieter than that one on when it pop-ups and auto opens. This one is just as loud as this one. You saw you have to manually open it up, and even if you don't manually open up, it's going to give you about the same amount of noise as the Heat Transfer Warehouse one. So just trying to give you guys all the different things that you might think about on a heat press. This one is easier to close because it has the extra handle right here. All right, so this has that extra handle, so it's easier to close. If you want to apply firm pressure, you could use 2 hands to do it. But like I said, I love all the heat presses that I own. If I had to do it again, I actually could. If I had to eliminate one, I would say, sadly, it would probably be the Heat Press Nation Signature Series. I would get rid of this press and I would just get another one of these presses, to be honest. So Heat Transfer House, if you have another 16 by 20 that might be banged up, might be used or something like that, bottom of the barrel, I'll take it. I'll take it, Heat Transfer House, okay? And but that's not to say that this is a bad press. It's a great press. Tried and true. A lot of people have it. I just think that out of all the presses, this is the best press for your money. I just wish that Heat Transfer Warehouse would put that brain, this touch screen, on this press, and I've said that over and over again, and it would be the perfect press. Nobody would be able to mess with it. This, at that price point, would rival the Fusion IQ, if you ask me. The Fusion IQ is just way big for no reason. It's a 16 by 20 press, and it's overkill on the parameters. It does have a swing away as well as a pull out, but I mean, it's huge and it's twice as heavy as all these presses for no reason whatsoever. It has that, you know, and I would say it's tried and true, but if something goes wrong in there, it's so electrical that I've seen some horror stories. But again, I always like to say that I can't talk about stuff that I don't have, but I've seen so many complaints over the years. But I've seen people using it and they love it. You know, people claim that it's the Lamborghini or the Ferrari of all heat presses in the game. I don't see that at all. because it does not have an auto open feature. And in order for something to work really well for me, it needs to be kind of like foolproof, and it has to help me. If I can't press something and walk away and know that it's going to pop up if I'm in another room or something like that, that's not helping me, right? That's not helping me, in my opinion. I have to come back over and physically open that. That's not helping. So I hope this helps you guys try to make an informed decision when purchasing your heat press. That's all I'm trying to do, help you guys. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'll talk to you guys on the next video. It's your boy Alan Wade. Thank you so much for watching. Use my affiliate links down below. Buy yourself some channel merch. Help support the channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at A-Dubb Productions. And I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Peace.
Turn up that, crank it up. While I listen to the rest when you're rocking with the best, baby. It's right here, it's right here, it's right here.